You're watching the number one podcast in the community and the only podcast that matters. I'm your host, Juan.
And I'm your host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And you are watching
Rope Break.
Robert, baby. How's every single one of you today? Thanks for joining us, family. Thank you. And we're ready one more time for Smackdown. The show that put us to sleep every single Friday is our daily doses of NyQuil.
I needed one of these, the big
And we're
one too,
doing a
to
little
get
bit
through.
of promotion
To
right
get,
here for
yeah,
a brand.
no promotion until you got this pretty face on the side of the can. But I needed one of them to stay through this awful show because I can't think of anything good that happened in this show.
Exactly. Like another, show. I will say though, I don't know if you're with me or not, but this one was a bit more watchable than the ones from like 2, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And maybe, just maybe, because we didn't have Roman Reigns and Baron
Yeah,
Corbin
I was gonna say
in the
just
actual show.
yeah, there was a little segment with Corbin, but besides that, I mean, it was nice, and I did like when Tucker told off Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. That was legit, and there was a
Exactly.
little bit of Otis storyline going on because he did appear in the show. But other than that, I mean, and I always love seeing Heath Slater. You know, he's got kids, he needs money, he needs to be on TV, so I always appreciate that. But everything else, man, this was awful.
It's still, we're not saying it's good. Okay, we're not really by any means. We're trying to say that it was good. We're trying to say it was a bit more watchable. It didn't put me to sleep throughout the 2 hours, but we're gonna go over everything like usual. Thank you so very much to the new subscribers. I want to say hi extra to Marcelo, a good friend of mine that he's been following. He says he enjoys the shows. Thank you so very much. And every single one, like Jean Paul always says, the new ones, all ones, the ones that started from day one until now. And people are wondering what date is it? February 21st, 2020. The show came from Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in Arizona.
Phoenix,
Yeah, yeah.
Arizona. Yeah, it was in the United States for the ones that like wonder. But yeah, it was from Phoenix, Arizona. And Jean Paul, before we start, please, family, we have great content this week. We have Monday Night Raw with Jean Paul Egg. Randy Orton finishes Matt Hardy, one concerto. And sir, please go
Mm-hmm.
to AEW because we're ready
Yep.
to start deleting your past. That's what you need to do. Delete all these powers of your past, and that's what the Monday Night Raw review with Jean Paul. Also with Jean Paul, AEW review. Cody finally gets his shot at the Wardlow steel cage match. Legit. He did
Mm-hmm.
a moonsault from the top of the cage. He
Yeah,
actually
that
got
was
hurt.
legit.
He got injured. More build up with Moxley. Unfortunately, Jeff Cobb had to lose. He looked kind of like dumb. And we got Shana and Chris Statlander. That was good. AEW this week defeated NXT one more time, and I think not only in the viewership but also in our hearts
Mm.
because AEW was a little bit better of a show, and also we have NXT, Jean Paul and myself this time. A show that, like Jean Paul said, it fell flat. It didn't deliver
Yeah,
for us.
it was just like a boring show. It
It
was
was.
more boring than normal Fallout shows from takeovers. Usually they
It
do
kind of
something
like
that's
yeah. It
exciting,
kind
but
of Jean Paul reminded me of like the fallout of the takeover like it used to be in the WWE network, not in USA. You will see
yeah,
just like reruns, like video packages,
yeah,
and one or two matches that nobody cared. Very similar to that, so
yeah.
I wasn't that happy with
And
that.
I think for us too that like the Velveteen Dream Roderick Strong match just wasn't. It didn't live up to the hype. I don't know. It was just something about it.
Exactly.
I watched it and it wasn't as good as their previous matches. The ending was extremely predictable. And then, like you said, it was anticlimactic. He hit a Dream Valley driver, and it's like, oh, he's gonna kick out, and he doesn't, and it's like, oh, okay.
And then the undisputed era of
And
like
then they just
they
beat his
stand
ass
tall.
afterwards, and it's like, oh,
They
okay.
stand tall for no reason. So another like thing that like we didn't like, but hey, all the content is right there for the soccer fans. We've been trying to expand our horizons, so we have all four matches for the UEFA Champions League round of 16. Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool, and we have Tottenham against Leipzig, and Atalanta against Valencia, and we have also PSG, Paris Saint Germain against Borussia Dortmund. All of that is in the channel for us, like some gameplay for the ones that love soccer, for the ones that love
And even
gameplay.
even if you don't love soccer, watch it because if when he scores and you hear him goal, if you don't get hype, get out of here.
That's right. That's right. And talking about getting hype, we're really hyped to announce that tomorrow we're going to be in Symphony of Chaos Outbreak. We're going to be visiting Outbreak Wrestling, and we're going to be we're going to be witnessing this great pay-per-view. Live professional wrestling is going to be here in Reading, Pennsylvania. So just for everybody that is going to go over
In the
there,
building.
we're going to be in the building. We're going to be first
Rotate will
row.
be there live. Yep.
So we're going to be, trying to chat with everybody that has been watching the show. So thank you so very much for that, guys. Jean Paul Egg, let's get right to it.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown. Well, like we said, like not convincing for me one more time. And the first segment, it was the Usos come out. Usos come out, and then the New Day. So
Mm-hmm.
they were actually exchanging, like they were saying, yeah, like the Usos are, yeah, we're here to this, to beat everybody, and also we're gonna tag with our friends from the New Day.
Yeah, they were pissed that like Miz and Morrison were like shit talking them, and they're like, "We saw you saying, excuse me, all this stuff on social media and this and that," and it's like, okay, like no, see, like I felt like nobody cared. I mean, one person in the crowd was like, "Kick his ass," and then like one of the Usos, because I still can't tell them apart. One of them was like laughing because he heard the guy because it was like clear as day. This guy's like, "Kick his ass," and then they're like cutting his promo on Miz and Morrison, but like, nobody cares. And then they're like, oh, but we're gonna be teaming with somebody, and they're like, who, and they do the New Day who, and then Biggie, oh, then they come out and all that shit, and the only thing I liked about it because I'm like, oh, they're just gonna be, like giving each other compliments because they're all these baby faces, and it's like, oh, it's sickening. We don't care. But I do like how the New Day was like, yeah, you're 7-time tag champs or 6-time, I think it is 6-time tag champs, and then they're like, but that's one less than us. And then Big E
Yes.
like got in their face. Like that I do like because it shows not that I mean now I'm not saying we want to see this feud again because we've seen it 30 times, but at least when they wrestle it's a legit match.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the one thing is, like, when they, like you said, like Big E gets in, like, intensity mode, when he gets in
Hmm.
like real mode, when we get,
Hmm.
like, it's like let's go mode,
When
is
we
good.
get Biggie Langston.
When we get Biggie Langston from
Yep.
NXT, is good because he goes from like comedy act, he goes from like being a buffoon to like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'm ready.
Yep.
They was good. I really love that line when he says, "Well, we're still one more than you guys." So you could see that tension, maybe teasing something for down the line. If they do
Hmm.
it at WrestleMania, it will be kind of like, to me, okay, really, like you said, I don't
Yeah,
want to see
no,
that food
no.
ever
To
again.
me, you gotta like if I'm booking this at WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying this is what I want to see, but to me, a poetic justice would be if somehow Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are the tag champs and Heavy Machinery beats them. Otis gets the pin on Ziggler, and then Mandy comes out and like kisses Otis.
See,
That
that
would
would be
be
that would
legit.
be see that in for example, that's a WrestleMania moment
Yeah,
right there.
that would be legit. Yeah.
That
Because he
that
like wins the belt, and then like Mandy could be like at the bottom of the ramp, and he's like celebrating with Tucker, and then he looks and he sees her, and he's like, and then but he maybe is like still pissed off, so he like ignores her, and then she comes in the ring and kisses him and shit, and then it would be like,
and
oh, it is, oh, it is,
that would be
yeah.
really cool because we have a lot of a build up. We have more elaboration. We have more follow up when it comes to that storyline. But first, like, it was the New Day and the Usos, and of course, like we mentioned before, on the NXT video, we said that like they were gonna face Ziggler and Bobby Roode and Miz and Morrison because of course Miz and Morrison are gonna be fighting with the New Day for the belts at Super Showdown, an event that we
Hmm.
will be covering. So match, it ended the same way that all the matches that they have involved these 8 guys
Yeah,
have ended, is more of the same.
yeah,
Bobby Roode hits the DDT and doesn't pin anybody.
yeah, and don't you like when Miz and Morrison came out before the match? I just don't like the. To me, like John Morrison should have be like he should have been the guy who took the Intercontinental Championship away from Nakamura. That's
Yeah,
like that's a role that you have him do. Then he could wrestle guys like Elias and obviously not lose, beat Elias, wrestle Cesaro, do that. But instead they put him with the Miz and he comes out and they're trying to get this like cringy bullshit like song over because the New Day have a song. They're like, we want people to chant stuff when we come out and all this stuff. And I mean Morrison, he's a pro and he's doing the job, but it's like you could tell this guy he's destined for much greater things than what they're using him for.
Yeah, but that's like you said, that's just pretty much preaching to the choir. Why? Because this guy was like a heavyweight champion on TNA on Impact, and okay, many people would say, yeah, he's Impact one, okay, yeah, but the guy was in the main event. This guy
Yeah,
can carry a
yeah,
company.
but say that to like Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles.
Yeah, and that's
They're
what I mean.
TMA Impact champions, so like that it doesn't mean just because it's not WWE doesn't mean it's any less. Hell, Jinder Mahal was a WWE champion. Are you gonna say Jinder
And
Mahal is better than John Morrison? No, so I don't
no,
buy that.
and that's
I
what
don't buy that one bit.
I will always remember, triple threat match. Eli Drake, we've been covering here on NWA against
Uh-huh.
Alberto Del Rio and John Morrison. So, these were three high caliber guys, really great athletes going for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Hmm.
So you go from there to just go be an attack partner of the Miz, and all your momentum was just taken away in one split second. Boom.
Yeah,
Not
and I
even
mean,
a
I
singles
think
guy.
to me they're obviously gonna at some point you're gonna feud the Miz and John Morrison, and then John Morrison's gonna win, and then he's gonna move on to a singles role. But it's like, why couldn't we just trim the fat, cut out all the bullshit, and just have him be a singles guy right away?
Yeah, and then you in my world you didn't need Morrison and the Miz going back to being a team,
No,
especially
you could.
if they're
Yeah,
losing.
yeah, exactly. But
So
yeah, take us through the match. Enough
yeah,
fantasy
and
booking.
we're
Because they're
gonna
not
take
gonna
it through a
listen.
match because
Yeah, they don't
it's just
listen to what we say anyway.
they don't
The
listen to what we say.
WWE
They
anyway.
should.
Yeah.
They should though. They should. So Morrison hit a shining wizard and a shooting star for a 2 count as Kofi broke up the pins. He like, okay, the faces now break up pins now too. I don't get that. The
But I
shooting.
mean, anybody should break up the pin. At least it's more realistic than standing on the outside going, "Come on, kick out, kick out." In NXT, they do it.
Yeah, but it's like okay, but the new day is like oh, like we're super baby face. To me, I don't, and I hate Kofi's new look. I
Oh, I
don't.
don't like his hair. He looks like what the hell is his name? Oh man, Jesse the Body when he
Yeah,
had the blonde threads
yeah,
back in
like
the
he
day.
looks. Yeah, he looks like the guy from the video who let the dogs out. Exactly like that. It's like oh,
The
like
Baha
terrible.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, like the Baham. Yeah, I'm like okay, nobody. I'm still not looking for those dogs, so no, thank you. So Kingston then sent Miz to the outside, and Morrison hit a springboard corkscrew on him. That was a legit move.
Yeah,
I
more.
love the
That's
I love
why
the
I said
tornado.
what I said about Morrison is like you just look at him and he's so legit, and it's like, and he's stuck in this bullshit tag division.
Yeah, exactly. So they traded roll up near folds, and then Ziggler hit the spinebuster zigzag with Dolph for a 2 count. That came out as a botch because Dolph even didn't do anything when he hit the move. And then Ziggler ate a super kick, and so did the Miz. As Cole said, super kick party. Rude went for a blue, and you know why they're doing that, right?
Yeah, the Bucks.
The Bucks, yeah, exactly. Taking a shot at the Young Bucks. Hopefully the Young Bucks don't get upset and then they start eliminated on the social media stuff.
Well, I
Because
think they. I don't.
WWE's fooling us. No,
Yeah, well,
hopefully.
they're probably they're. I don't think they came back to Twitter. They're too sensitive.
Yeah, so they went for a glorious DDT, and then one of the Usos, is Jimmy Uso, kick him too for a 3 count. So one super kick and done.
Then
There
when
was
he, when I watched, I was like, when he hit the super kick, I was like, oh, he's gonna kick out, and then he's gonna tag in his brother, and then they're gonna do the splash, and then done. And then when he pinned it with a super kick, I'm like, just release Bobby Roode. Just Bobby Roode, just go back and be the TNA Impact champion. Just go
yeah,
back to Impact and just please
or
don't
like just
even.
go to NWA and
Yeah,
be
yeah, go against Nick Aldis. Yeah, but don't. Yeah, I mean, Beer Money was legit, but he deserves to be a not like not Morrison, and like, oh, I'm gonna leave, go to another company, and be in the tag division. No, he needs to be in the main event. He's a main event anywhere he goes,
yeah. No, exactly. And we've
except
been saying this.
WWE, except
We've
SmackDown
been
or Raw.
we've been crying about Bobby Roode for the longest time. So but this I don't even care about him anymore because like every time that I cry for him, is it just doesn't get any better. He just loser. Nobody cares. So we get a Daniel Bryan review. I'm sorry, backstage, and he's like right there walking, and Drew Gulak offers like to show him like a PowerPoint presentation about all the things that he's been doing wrong. His later is right next, by the view of the shot, and then he heard his name, and he wanted like he starts getting into the conversation, and he says that Daniel made his kids cry a few weeks ago, and nobody makes my kids cry by me.
Yeah, he's like,
So
nobody makes my kids cry except me, and it's like, wait, what? Like, what the hell? Do you beat your kids or something? And
it
then
seems
I
that
love when
that's what
he's
I was
like,
thinking.
He was like, you attacked me. He's like, you challenged me to this match. He's like, you kicked my head in, and he's like, I wasn't ready. And then he's like, oh, well, you ready now? And he's like, I'm always ready. Even though he said he wasn't ready, then he says
Yeah,
he's
I'm
always
like,
ready. That's what I mean. Like, if you listen to stuff like Heath Slater's funny. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
that's what we need to see more of. I don't want wrestling to be comedy, but like in a show that's so boring and such bullshit, it's nice to have the little bit of comedy in
And
there.
also
At
like
least,
you can introduce the comedy, but it's very subtle. If the match talks in the ring, it needs to talk for itself. But
yeah.
in the promo and everything, you can be funny. Like see,
Hmm.
like that's like, and see, you pick that up. It's like, hey, I'm always ready. I wasn't ready. So those little things is funny enough. So
Yeah.
then Daniel walked off, and then he said that maybe Gulak can help him.
Hmm.
And then we get something that Jean Paul always loves, is because, like, rightfully so, this is the best storyline that WWE has right now, and is Otis and Mandy Rose, and then they play a whole promo. The
Yeah.
whole thing. How it
They had to break our hearts again and show us poor Otis, getting ready and everything and going to
like
the
they had to
restaurant.
like they gave us a whole recap of how the situation started until the end of like Otis saw Dolph Ziggler and Mandy Rose, having dinner, and he was late, and then he ended up, going, leaving the restaurant and everything. So then we get to see Mandy and Sonya. They were backstage. So Tucker goes like, Jean Paul will go and defend me, or I will go and defend
Mhm.
Jean Paul. And he walks up to them, and he's not happy. And he goes, Mandy, you hurt my boy.
Mhm.
That's legit.
Yeah, that's legit. Yeah.
That's legit. It's like,
And
you hurt
then
my boy.
Sonya's like, this isn't a good time right now. And he's like, listen, I just need to get this off my chest. And like you said, he told him, like, Otis is like one of the sweetest people on the planet and this and that. And he's like, hurt his feelings. He always finds the good in people and all this other stuff. And he's like, well, you did. He's like, why'd you set him up? Like, if you knew you were going to meet Dolph, why didn't you just tell him? And she's
Yeah.
like, I didn't. He just showed up. And he's like, he showed up late and Dolph Ziggler was there. And then he's like, well, why was he late? When you texted him, you were running late. And she's like, what text? So then it adds a new aspect to the storyline because it was really like they kind of mentioned it again when he walked away. She was like, what text is he talking about? So it's like, did Dolph Ziggler steal her phone, or did he text Otis like a number and he's like, oh, this is Mandy, and it wasn't actually Mandy, and maybe Otis didn't realize it was a different number. That's
Well,
what I
maybe,
mean.
for
Who
example,
knows?
Sonya could have been the one that texted.
Yeah, that's true.
Sonya, or
Because
maybe
Sonya
Sonya
was
and Dolph
jealous.
Ziggler are aligned,
Yeah,
and then they're not there, because Mandy does say, she's
yeah,
like, I was looking forward to hang out,
yeah.
on this thing with
Yeah,
Otis,
because
but
that's the one thing. Like when if we're gonna go to Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago when Vince McMahon came up with that lesbian angle for Lana and Liv Morgan, Sonya was pissed because she's actually like a lesbian in real life. She was like, she wanted to do this angle on television with Mandy Rose,
yeah,
and they were like, no, 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 and then they do it on Monday Night Raw. So
yeah,
so maybe they're doing it now on SmackDown as well. And then, like you said, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. Like maybe she took Mandy's phone and
yeah.
texted him like, "Oh, he's gonna be late," and then she maybe told Dolph like, "Hey, you should go meet up with Mandy."
Help me out, yeah.
Yeah,
And even she says that, it's like, well, Dolph, it suits more like a Mandy Rose. He's like,
yeah,
that's the kind of guy that Mandy Rose will go for.
hmm,
So like, we all get our hearts broken, but he said, like, I really appreciate how Tucker goes like, hey, you should have not set my boy up like that.
yeah,
And it's like, I thought that you had good intentions, but
yeah. That's what I mean. They're legit, and like, and not even just all this. Like, even in the ring, for being how big he is, Tucker's legit, dude.
yeah.
He,
No, and I
if
really, I
you
really
let him
like the
go,
promo for that he
yeah,
did today.
yeah,
Very good.
but if you let him go in a singles match, like he's good. Like the guy can wrestle. So
Oh yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I
So
mean.
good.
Yeah.
We have, like, like I said, we have follow up, and there's even a little more when it comes to that. And but first, we got Lacey Evans in an interview, and Renee Young is the one interviewing her, and then she asks like, "Hey, it's the first time, like, after the Royal Rumble that you're on camera. So it's like, how do you feel about the laws and everything?" And she says, "Well, I feel, not great, because it was a hard pill to chew, but the mission as a Marine, my mission is not yet accomplished." So as he said, like, how, like, they came up with, like, why you call people nasties and everything. So she actually was saying, like, the meaning of what the nasty and all of that.
Yeah,
She was
she tried
explaining
to
how that
say
she
some
used it for.
bullshit. It was like a southern thing, and it's like they're just trying to, like, they don't want to drop the nasties thing, but they also want to have her as a baby face. So I'm like, that was like, this segment, I was like, the monster barely helped me. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm like, no,
yeah.
stay awake, stay awake. Don't change the channel. Stay awake. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same. Like it's being the word like nasty is a thing that's used to you in the South, and but she's admitting that she used to be a bully. So she
Hmm.
says like her granddaddy always told her, if your ping stinks, you're probably the pig.
Hmm.
So then she says her sides at the elimination chamber. So she says that there are going to be five other women, and she's going to get that title match, implying that there's going to be another elimination chamber. So there's probably, like I was telling you, there's probably going to be two chambers
Yeah.
involved with the women.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Three chamber matches. That's like,
Yeah.
and and the one thing I was thinking, because when we were talking earlier, who's going to be in it? Sasha Banks, I saw, she's supposed to be on the Mandalorian season 2.
Yes, she was shooting a few episodes of The Mandalorian. Yeah.
So I don't. So if it's a few episodes, I doubt it's just a cameo. And obviously, she's not going to be a cameo as Sasha Banks. It's going to be, so she's probably playing a character like that's going to be on a couple episodes. Not saying a main character, but a character that's going to have some focus. So maybe she's done with wrestling and she's shifting more into acting. But that's a shame because she's one of the only legit, no pun intended, one of the only legit people on, this show for wrestling for the women.
And see, this takes me to the fact that, like, for example, like she resigned just because of how much free time she was gonna get to maybe to try to do these new gigs, to try
Yeah.
to like expand, her horizons and try to do other things.
Yeah, because
And
but like let's just look at it from the wrestling from the like aspect of this all because I want to talk about this chamber match for a little bit. Who are you gonna put in it? There's Naomi,
Naomi,
Carmella,
Carmel two,
Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans
Lacey
is
Evans
3,
three, Alexa 4,
Alexa, and yeah,
and
Nikki
then
Cross
maybe
is 5.
Nikki,
Yeah,
or
5, and then
Mandy and Sonia. And
that's
you
what I
gotta
mean.
take maybe Alexa and Nikki. You know what I mean? You take those two and you put the other two.
Yeah, it's to me like there's no like Naomi isn't bad, but she's not great.
Or
There's
Dana
like no
Brooke will be in it.
Yeah, but none of them are legit. That'll be one where I go get nachos and you go to the bathroom, take a dump. That's what I'll be doing during that one.
Well, no, I'm gonna do my best to not go to the bathroom after
Yeah.
the whole event because I don't like to miss anything. That's just me.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna
No,
try.
no.
We'll see.
All jokes aside. I mean, I hope it's legit. I feel like there's gonna be some good spot, in a match. Somebody's gonna do something good,
Oh yeah,
But to me, I don't think you need that. You don't need to have that as like 2 elimination chambers. I feel like they're only doing it because they're like, oh shit, we have Charlotte who won the Royal Rumble. She's not even challenging for a title on our show.
yeah.
She's
They need
going
to
to
pump it
NXT.
up in a
So it's
different
like,
way.
oh.
Absolutely, and you're right. Like I feel again, I am for sure certain Naomi, Carmella, and then I'm
And
thinking
Lacey.
Alexa, Lazy 4, and then you need probably Fire and Desire because Nikki Cross was not in the show today, so maybe there might
Yeah,
she
I
might
mean,
not be needed.
I'd rather see Nikki Cross just because I know she's actually gonna wrestle. Alexa Bliss is probably just gonna be the number 6 out. She's just gonna hide in her pod the whole time. She'll do one twisted bliss, pin somebody, and then get pinned herself.
And done.
Yep.
And
So it's like, why even have her in it?
yeah, but Alexa's like for a lot of people, like she has fans all over, and they need to
Mhm.
do it for her.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I will tell you why, because she's hot. So, but that's the only reason. Because again, wrestling wise, her ability is not quite like people like Sasha Banks, Bailey, and Naomi and
Mhm.
Carmella. But despite that fact, Mr. Egg, yeah, we already talked about this elimination chamber. So we get the Symphony of Destruction match. We get Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura against Elias and Braun Strowman.
And
I don't know
how do
why
you take
the
such a legit song, Symphony of Destruction, and put it, and put that, that name of a song associated with such a garbage match?
yeah, I don't know why they do this. Why is the music needed to do this? This feud
Yeah, the whole like
boring.
who actually cares? If you're any of our fans, please comment if you actually care about this Braun Strowman and Elias push. If you are legit fans of these guys. Now, I'll be honest. I was a fan of Braun Strowman when he was on Raw in the early days. when
So
he was like,
3 years ago.
yeah, when
Three
he
years
was
ago.
kicking everybody's ass, and before he was just destroying the set every week. When he was going against Brock Lesnar, when he had the singles match, I wanted him to win and be the Universal Champion.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's time, give it to him. But now it's like the dude, to me, he's so boring, and there's just nothing good about him. Elias, same thing. The dude has like 4 moves, and he's beating guys like Cesaro and Nakamura. It's
He
like
didn't
nobody cares.
like he doesn't even have a theme song. His theme song is like ring. The string is just like
Yeah,
touch the strings. What
no,
is this?
people love Jean Paul more than they love fucking Elias.
Yeah, well, I rather walk with Jean Paul, and I'll be walking with Jean Paul so we can get in the building for Outbreak. So,
Exactly.
like you said, okay, the feud it doesn't really make too much sense because in the first place is not is disproportionate. Okay, why? Because Braun Strowman can take both, can take Cesaro and Nakamura because the way that they portray Cesaro and Nakamura, they portray them like losers, and
Hmm.
they portray Strowman and Walmart like the greatest thing in the world. And on
Yeah.
top of that, Elias, okay, like he's not needed. He's not needed.
No.
They just need something to do for him. You go from being Shane McMahon's lackey, like just to like be ashamed, be pretty much made fun of by John Cena, The Undertaker, everybody. And now they want me to think that like he's cool and legit. How?
Yeah, the only thing I see this going is eventually Braun Strowman and Elias are going to have a match, and somehow Elias is going to pull the upset,
Well,
and he's going to be the new IC champ.
you reported on Raw Break that there might be a chance that like Elias is going to be facing John Cena at WrestleMania. So how is that
Yeah,
going to work?
no, that is such a bullshit. Nobody wants to see that. If you're going to do anything and you're going to be NXT guys, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But John Cena wants the match, so give him Velveteen Dream.
And see, that will be that's if Cena is that supposedly he lives in Tampa, so it's a great opportunity for him to have a legit storyline. He's coming back next week, so we're already giving you
Hmm.
some piece. That we will be covering that, of course, and give it the Velveteen Dream.
But the
The
only
Velveteen
thing,
Dream is being
you
wanted.
got to, yeah, you got to. The only thing is like we're getting close. February's almost over, and it seems like this feud because it didn't end with Roderick Strong because they beat him down. So now that feud continues. You should have ended that feud. He should have went on, and then he should be like, oh, what's next for the Dream?
Yeah,
And then but instead you're gonna drag out this Undisputed Era feud. So to me, if you're gonna book it, you got to start now.
it's either like if they don't do it now, I'm pretty sure next year should be the one. And maybe that's it for John Cena as an active
Yeah.
wrestler. We'll see, but like it's a great idea
Oh,
that
and speaking of that, I don't want to go too off topic, but I listened to an interview with Kurt Angle, and apparently the plan was for him to wrestle Baron Corbin when he did at that WrestleMania, and he was supposed to lose, like whatever, put Corbin over because the original plan was Jason Jordan, who he was
hmm
supposed to wrestle.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Jordan got hurt, so then he wrestled Corbin and lose. Vince wanted him to wrestle again, like this one more full year. And then he wanted him to, and then he said your retirement match can be against John Cena because he wanted John Cena for his retirement match. But he's like, no, we're doing Corbin first and then John Cena next year. And Kurt Angle was like, I can't wrestle 2 years, so I'm done. He's like, my body's bullshit, I'm done. And then he's like,
I'm
well, then it's
done.
he's like, well, then it's Corbin. And he's like, so it's Corbin.
So it has to be Baron
So
Corbin.
yeah, that was. I mean, we would have got the John Cena match and Kurt Angle, but unfortunately, we didn't get that. So
Well, no, and of course Kurt Angle has to go in the worst possible fashion in this type of like match with Baron Corbin. That okay, did that feud get Corbin over? No, and to the point that like everybody absolutely hates Baron Corbin. Everybody that enjoys professional wrestling, and hear my words, professional wrestling, everything that goes in it. You don't like Baron Corbin, and I'm not saying the guy is bad in the ring. No, but like the character that he has right now in WWE is absolutely terrible.
yeah,
Is
and
absolutely
I'm not
hideous,
even gonna blame
disgusting.
all. I'm not even gonna blame all Corbin for that because that's clearly the writing. That's clearly Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon, whoever's writing SmackDown and
Yeah,
Raw
no,
when he
no,
was
no.
on Raw.
Except
Because the
again,
dude is just going out. He's just going out there and doing what he's told to do.
oh yeah, no, no. I'm saying like I've said this many times. I enjoy 1916. What is this move? The
I'm gonna say, yeah, that's Finn Balor. I
Yeah, that's
enjoyed
Finn
Finn
Balor.
Balor
No,
a
no,
lot
that's not
too.
the one.
Are
I
you
enjoy Div
talking?
6. There you go. Div
Yeah,
6.
Deep Six.
There's
Yeah,
so many numbers. So I enjoy Div 6. I enjoy End
and
of
then the
Days.
end was it the end of days?
End
Yeah,
of
or
Days, I
whatever it is.
enjoy, as the wrestler, he's good. Like, to me, especially the End of Days is such a beautiful finisher that, like, if
Mm-hmm.
they will focus on the finisher, he'll be way off. He'll be good, but they don't do that. So going along with the match of the Symphony of Destruction, they use that because they got a lot of instruments involved. There was a piano. They had like a lot of things in the ring. So Elias grabbed the horn, but Nakamura stopped him and he hit him with a kick and gong mullet. Then Nakamura went into the gun as Elias moved. Elias threw Cesaro into the pose and smashed him with a guitar. Okay, Jeff Jarrett, a honky
Mm-hmm.
tonk man, a lot of
Yep.
references right there.
Slap nuts.
Yep. And then he sat Cesaro on the table and climbed up to the top. Then Zayn tried to stop me. Travis tried to stop him, but Braun sent Zami over the announce table, and then he hit a power slam on a baby grand piano on Shinsuke for the win. As Elias hit an elbow through the table on Cesaro. Again, this match doesn't really made any sense. I don't know what we're doing.
And why is Elias finishing people? I mean, obviously he wasn't the one who scored the pin. Why is he using the elbow? What was wrong with the drift away or
I
whatever
know
his other finisher was called?
the drift away was actually a good move.
Yeah,
It was a thing.
it was his only legit move. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, why does everybody have to emulate Macho Man?
And that
You
bothers
know what I
me.
mean?
You know
Yeah.
that, especially if you're gonna emulate Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the best of all time, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. The one guy that put wrestling all over the world is Macho Man Randy Savage. Many
Mm-hmm.
people say, yeah, Hulk Hogan was way over. That's because WWF tried to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
deep down, everybody knows that. I mean, everybody that understands professional wrestling like they should be understood, Randy Savage was the one that made it so much popular.
Oh
Macho Man
yeah.
Randy Savage to me is
He was a
untouchable.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. We don't need to go into the whole backstage politics of the '80s, why Macho Man was in his position and Hogan was in his, but like that's the thing. He had a legit move. It's called the drift away. Elias is the drifter. It all made sense. And now he's coming out there, and I'm not talking shit, but he stole my gimmick because I wore the bandana before Elias did.
Mhm.
So he's coming out there. He wears the bandana now. He drops the elbow, and it's like, okay, dude, nobody's gonna cheer you like Macho Man. Nobody is even gonna make that connection besides us because nobody wants to. Nobody sees Elias and goes, "Oh, Macho Man." If they do, they're thinking how we think, and they're like, "Why are you copying his moves? You're not even like a knockoff. You're like a knockoff of Macho Man."
Yeah, so
And it's like,
no.
stop trying. Yeah, just do the drift away, go back to that, and be done.
Yeah, and at least, well, he's winning matches somewhat because of the help of Braun Strowman, but what he needs to do is, like, if anything, right? Turn heel and then challenge for the IC Championship.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, if they don't have anything for Cesaro and Nakamura, at least you will have a heel Elias that he can pull a decent heel because of the songs, because of the whole gimmick. That whole gimmick allows him to be either babyface or heel, easy.
Yeah, the only
But
thing if Elias does do that, I want him to get and if the plan is Elias and John Cena at Mania, I want him to have the belt before Mania, and then John Cena can beat him at Mania for the belt. Then we know John Cena's at least going to be on SmackDown, so SmackDown will be somewhat watchable because when John Cena has a mic in his hands, you listen. He's an
yes,
amazing promo. I don't care
yes,
what you say about him in the ring. Yeah, he's definitely not the greatest, but on the mic, tell me somebody who's better. I
yeah.
can't really think of anybody, at least currently in WWE. Maybe Samoa Joe, but that's a maybe. John Cena is
And
one of the
then
best to
when
do it on the microphone.
John
But
Cena.
then we know, like I said, he's going to be on SmackDown, and then he can be used to get someone over. He can drop that belt to, maybe he puts someone like a Chad Gable over or Mustafa Ali. They could have a legit feud. He put somebody like that over. I'm not saying, or maybe him and Sheamus. Maybe we go back to some 2006, 2008 feud or something. You know what I mean?
You're
He
right.
could do something like that.
You're right,
But
and I absolutely agree. So moving along, Mr. Egg, there was that video package that you mentioned, Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns. There's going to be taking place at Super Showdown. We will be covering that.
can
And
you
now
believe?
also I'm going to ask you, like, who's your pick? I mean, I know who it is, but like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a steel cage match. Of course, Big Dog is going to win, and
But
they did that video package.
when Michael Cole said that this feud has been going on for over half a year, I was like, "Oh my god, has it really been that long?"
It is true. I was actually doing the research. They've been on pay per view already 4 times. That same match.
Yeah.
4 times.
I was like, oh my god! Like I knew it was long, and I mean we're only in
February.
February and almost almost in March, but it's like that's like 2 months, and then like how many months of last year, and it's like I mean it seems like so long, but I just don't ever think about it. The only
They
time
don't
I think
learn.
about Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin is when I see it on TV. It's not a feud
And,
like I think, oh yeah, about Styles and McIntyre, Lesnar, like those are feuds you actually think about and you like, and then you see this and it's like, oh, you just try to forget it.
oh
But
yeah,
6 months,
maybe
it's like, who is this for? This must be for
four
one
times
man,
already on
Vince
pay per view.
McMahon.
I'll keep saying 4 times on pay per view. Get it out of my
And
TV.
they
It's
said this
done.
is the last time. Is this the last time, or
It
will we
will
see it
not. No,
again?
probably
Never.
they will hold it up to Mania.
They'd be
No,
like, they'd be like, Vince, I thought you said this was the last time.
no.
So,
This is like no. This is the last time, so it can be the last time. It's
yeah.
like the Shield. Like 3 more pay per views. The last match of the Shield. Same thing.
Hmm.
So a moment of bliss with the goddess, and now with the Bella Twins. This was a completely cringy moment. I think this was what
Well,
got the rating down.
this was worse than the last moment of bliss.
Yeah, I will agree because okay, they revealed that like the Bella Twins are going to be inducted in the 2020 Hall of Fame. Do I think that like they had any positive input when it comes to the women's wrestling, women's revolution? Maybe when Nikki Bella was the women's champion or the Divas champion, somewhat a little
No,
bit.
no, no,
Oh
no,
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 but
no,
you
no.
like you were like you are doing. This segment did not have any positive reaction,
Yeah,
and they
I
have
mean, I don't
the
even
Bella
think
Twins is like hometown.
you want to know why they're in the Hall of Fame. When Vince sits in Gorilla and he sees Nikki Bella come out and she rips open her fucking little jacket thing, exposes the fake enhancements,
Yeah.
and then she does her little dance and he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's why she's in the Hall of Fame. She was awful. It took Paige to come up there and make that division somewhat better. And you had AJ Lee, Natalia, she was there, but they didn't really care about her. They're like, whatever. Neidhart, okay, yeah, we'll kind of do something with you. And then it took like Paige, AJ Lee, and then eventually Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky, all them to make it actual legit wrestling.
Yeah. No,
Because
no,
it
yeah.
was like they didn't do shit. Like what are their moves? I don't even know. Slaps, kicks. Okay, I don't care. They're awful wrestlers.
Nikki, Nikki kind of became like with the years, she became semi like a decent wrestler. But like you said, like I mean, like I said, during the run of the Divas Champion, at some point she had some kind of good matches every now and then. But of course, they gotta be in the Hall of Fame because all of the stuff that they've done for WWE also. The Total Bellas show, the Total Divas, all of that thing.
Well, who watches that? They said the ratings are awful.
Well, they watch, like the people that are casual fans of wrestling, they kind of like try to follow along the other ventures, the other things that like wrestlers do. And also, they mentioned that they were pregnant at the same time, so that didn't get any reaction from the crowd. And
No,
right
because nobody
away,
cares. Because what is that? They remind me of like the White Kardashians.
yeah,
That
that could be the wild
that's
card.
what they remind me of. They gotta like,
Perfect
oh, we all gotta
definition.
get pregnant at the same time. We look the same. We all get plastic surgery. Look like the same person. Look like clones. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I watching? Wrestling or Star Wars? This is Attack of the Clones. What's going on here?
Yes, it is
And then
true.
of
It is.
course Daniel Bryan has to come out, and like I love Daniel Bryan, but like you said to me, he's bullshit for this man.
I'm sorry, but
Nikki
I'm
like
not coming out, just
Brie
to pump
Bella
my
is
kid. No, I'm
no.
not. I'm sorry, but and I will tell you this flat out. I'm sorry that if you guys love Daniel Bryan. I'm not a big fan of this because I will not put my daughter and my own family. I will tell my wife, hey, you do whatever, but don't bring the kid out.
Hmm.
Just and he had to
Yeah,
come out with that,
and this makes me think like that Ms. and Mrs. that show with Maurice and all that, and his life with his kids and stuff. When I sometimes I just see commercials for it. It's like, oh, Maurice is like on the treadmill, and of course her dress gets caught in the treadmill and rips her dress off, and she's like naked underneath. And like, first of all, why are you wearing a dress or like a sundress on the treadmill? And this is all for ratings. It's all like, oh, let's show the boobs and the butt for ratings. And I'm like, that's what the Bella twins were to me. It was all just for the ratings, and it's like that's why you go in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, it
But
is. It is.
you
It's unfortunately, but
hey,
it is true.
maybe
And then
Maurice will go for the Hall of Fame too.
they will. Believe me, they will because they put like the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, is like the NWO.
Hmm.
Everybody goes in it.
Yep.
Everybody goes in. It's like the same thing of the because Yeah, even Alexa announced Batista, NWO, and now the Bella Twins are confirmed. So we have the women's side of the Hall of Fame already announced. We have the singles guy and we have the group guy.
Yep.
So
And then hopefully, like we reported, hopefully the British Bulldog goes in. That's long overdue. I don't know why the hell they have to wait so long for somebody like that, but
and also like you mentioned, like there was talks of using Thunder Liger, so that will be really good. Hopefully
mm,
that comes to fruition. So moving back to the show, Daniel Bryan against Heath Slater. The match was like really, really quick. Drew Gulak was on commentary, and then they were talking about how like he's trying to give some pointers to Heath Slater, and so
and
how he can beat
how
Daniel
about
Bryan.
when Michael Cole called Drew Gulak Heath Slater?
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
Corey Graves he's like, you idiot. He's like, Heath Slater's in the ring. This is Drew Gulak. And he's like, oh, you guys got me so flustered.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Okay.
like,
Like see, it's because see, it's like they don't even care. They don't
yeah,
even
they
want to
don't
be.
care.
They don't
They're
even
like,
want to
who
be
are you?
there.
Yeah.
They don't even want to be there. So he's later climbing to the top, and Drew told him to get down. He didn't listen, and Bryan moved after a splash. Then Bryan nailed the yes kicks, and then he hit the running knee, and done. So very
And
simple match, and that's pretty much that's all it was.
and Heath Slater's kids are crying again.
And he didn't make them cry this time. I mean, he did because like my dad is a loser,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Like you said, he's later. He's such a like legit guy because he's been in the company forever. And if he would have he would have been used a little better. I think his career would have taken off because, like you said, he's funny. He's good in the ring, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, there must be something that we don't know that is stopping him for like come to like
Yeah,
being
send
this.
him to Raw and then get 3MB going again.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind when
Right.
Drew McIntyre
Yeah,
wins the
yeah,
title at
and then you can
WrestleMania.
get
I wouldn't mind.
Jinder and Heath Slater will be the tag champs.
Yeah, and John Paul
What a
moving.
bullshit idea. Who thinks
It
of
is.
this?
It's dumb, but even like we get a little bit more build up for Mandy Rose,
Hmm?
and she's backstage. She's like, she's waiting for. She said for a ride, and then Dolph Ziggler comes out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can come in my car." And then they go, they start going, and then you see Otis, and
Yep, he
he's
just
really
comes
sad.
out from behind the production crates and he's just like, to me, this reminds me of something like Batman. You know what I mean? He just like comes out of the shadows and he's all like,
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
all just, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. He's gonna kick Ziggler's ass and I can't wait.
I'm telling that match hopefully for Elimination Chamber, so we're there. So when Otis
Yeah,
comes out, we're gonna be losing.
yeah,
We're gonna be losing.
I don't think they'll book it for Chamber. That's pretty soon, but I mean, we'll see.
Or
Especially in the
hopefully, or like you
singles
said,
match.
maybe
Like I,
WrestleMania, maybe
yeah,
WrestleMania, but we'll
I
see.
mean, I'd love to see it live.
Yeah,
I'll
that
be
would
going
be really
crazy,
cool.
but we'll
That would
see.
be really cool. So we get then Shorty G and Apollo Crews are backstage, and then like kind of saying like because Sheamus got a promo, and he said that like he's gonna like have another match with them again, and they were like, well, we gotta like I know we lost last week, but we gotta make it better. Nobody cares. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
this whole thing
I
is
mean, Apollo
absolutely
Crews pretty much said like what we are all thinking. Sheamus or Chad Gable's like, he called me a rat. He called us vermin, this and that. And then Apollo Crews is like, dude, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do things my way. I'm gonna do my own thing. You do yours, man. He's like, I'll handle this how I want to, and he just walks away. And I
yeah.
hope I'm gonna handle it how I want to. He goes to Vince McMahon and he's like, release me so I can go to the Indies and be legit, like I know I'm it, like I
Like
know
I
I
know
am.
I can be, like I
Yeah.
know I could, I could do. So now we're going to the number one contenders match for the women's championship because this match is gonna be taking place at Super Showdown once again. So Naomi against Carmella, and we mentioned this, the right woman won because we knew
Mhm.
that Naomi was gonna be getting the title shot because she's just came back, she's on fire, and like you said, out of the two, Naomi is the better wrestler.
Yeah. And I
So
want to, and once you get to take us through the match, and then I want to tell you something I heard the ref, and when
oh,
yeah, but yeah, take me
yeah,
through, and then
like,
I'll
look,
tell you how
it's
this
something
went.
that I'm going to mention, and you're going to like elaborate a little more. So they moved to the apron, and Naomi nailed a kick into a sunset flip for a 2 count. Then they traded roll-up pins, but suddenly Mela had the code of silence locked, but Naomi made it into the ropes. Naomi hit a rear view for a 2 count. Then Naomi tried to get it to the top, but Mela grabbed her and then kicked her into the face for a 2 count. Then Naomi hit the blockbuster, and Mela was calling moves way too loud. See, that's what I have in my notes. You could hear it. You
Uh
could hear
huh.
that she was calling the moves. So Naomi hit a split-legged moonsault and then the win.
Yep.
So she's gonna
I
be
didn't
number
know
one
if that was
contender.
I didn't know if that was the ref or if that was who that was. I thought it was the ref because when Naomi was up top, I heard, hey, get down. The refs always say, get down, get down. The refs are
Yeah.
always saying, even though it's not illegal at all, they always say,
Yeah,
oh, get
I
down.
think you're right. It's Jessica Carr. That's the referee.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I don't think it was her. I think it might have been Carmella. I don't know who, but when I hear that, because obviously they like to turn the microphone or the audio on for that so you can hear it, and all you hear is blockbuster. And I'm like, did they just say the move? And then
Yeah.
she hits a blockbuster, and I'm like, they just called the move out. I'm like, come on, how do you make it that like that? That to me, it was like, really?
Well, how do you go from like Zaba 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 like the Undertaker
Yeah,
used to remember
yeah,
Zaba 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 hip toss Zaba Zaba to blockbuster?
uh-huh.
So yeah, like
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's way easier to call shit in the ring, but I don't like calling it on the fly. You got to do something where these dudes, boom, lay into each other. Or that's why you do the elbow and like the tie up. And you're like, all right, we do this, then you do that, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And then after that, then we'll be in the corner and then we can go over the next 5 steps. Boom, boom, boom. Throw them into the corner. Big body splash. All right, do this. Boom. Then you do that. You're not screaming it when there's no way to cover your mouth.
blockbuster. Now they're gonna make a meme out of it. You will see
Yeah,
that.
I
It's
was
gonna be
like,
like
what the heck?
it's
Like,
probably
what is
already
she
out.
like? I'm like, what is she going to the video store, Blockbuster? Like, what's
Yeah,
going on? I'm like,
yeah,
this is
like
such bullshit, dude.
it was and well at
But
least
at least, like we said, the right woman won. Split-legged moonsault, RVD, that's legit,
that's legit. We love RVD, and she's gonna be challenging Bailey in Saudi Arabia for the women's championship. And like Michael Cole and everybody said, like we already called it 3 weeks ago. I can actually tell you and bring you back to the video. It's gonna be, of course, they has to put that historic phrase in there
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be the first
The
time that
first,
a WWE championship is gonna be
mm-hmm.
defended from the women's. So in Saudi Arabia. So like
And
you said,
to me, it's like that doesn't mean anything whether there's a champion. To me, the historic match was last year. Lacey Evans and Natalia. The
yes,
championship doesn't matter. What are you going to do if you have a women's tag match there next year? You're going to be like, this is historic event, the first women's tag match. Who cares if they let women wrestle in some capacity over there? That's what's historic. It doesn't matter if you put 10 women in a ring or two. Or it
exactly,
doesn't matter
exactly.
if you have titles on the line or not. The historic
I
thing was Natalia and Lacey Evans.
I
This
agree
isn't
with you.
historic. Like, I mean, maybe you could say historic because it'll be African American woman wrestling over there.
Well,
That's
like you said,
instead of
also like
two.
for
Yeah,
example, like
but other than
Bailey,
that,
Bailey and Naomi are going to have to wear different kind of gear. Like you said, the
hmm
Power Ranger suit, maybe from both of them, because of
hmm
course Saudi Arabia has different rules, so they're not allowed to show skin or anything. Especially Naomi and Bailey, that Bailey always shows like the she
their
shows like
stomach.
the
Yeah,
stomach and everything, and Naomi like of course she shows like the legs a little bit, so they're going to have to cover them up really different. But of course WWE wants to do that because they can be featured on ESPN and all of that. We're going to be amplifying this the
and
MPA
speaking of
ESPN rumors.
ESPN,
Yeah.
it's going to say yeah. Speaking of that, do you want to just mention that quick
Oh
with
yeah,
the
well
paper?
there's a
Yeah.
lot of talks that like ESPN and the WWE are like trying to get a deal to move the pay-per-views onto ESPN Plus and
hmm
get them away from the WWE network.
Which, if they do that, uh, I mean, I like the network for watching old stuff, and they have like the network exclusives and this and that. But unless they keep takeovers on the network and that kind of stuff, I'll probably cancel my network subscription
There you go. See, that's
because I'm
gonna
because I'm gonna be shooting here for a second. There's websites like Daily Motion and all them other. You can just go on Google and you can find all these Raw episodes. You can find SmackDown. You can find anything online if you look hard enough. I'm not
yeah.
saying that you should do that, and I'm not saying if it's legal or not. Hey, whatever. But you can find all that stuff. Why would I be paying for the network if you're not going to be hooking me up with a deal with the
Oh yeah.
pay-per-views?
To me,
So
it's
to
a
me, they're
terrible
going to
move.
lose a
To me, it's
lot
a
of
terrible move
subscriptions.
because it's like you're already sacrificing the network. Maybe because ESPN is gonna be giving you more money because in the network nobody subscribes anymore.
Hmm
I think Road Break, we get more subscribers a day than what the network does in a year.
Yeah,
So
probably.
yeah, it is true. So that's what we do, and thank you to every single one of you for that. But hopefully, I will tell you the truth. I don't want that because it's just like it's a waste, a desperate move. He's saying that like your own fans are not subscribing enough, they're not engaged enough, so they gotta resort to do this kind of things with ESPN Plus because also ESPN Plus suffers. I will tell you that. I know that they only have certain kind of content. It's not as good as like any other platform. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, Jean Paul, let's go to main event. Bill Goldberg they were hyping it up from the beginning of the show all the way until the end. He was going to show up, and he was not at least via satellite. He was actually in
Mm.
the building. So he came out. He did the whole entire entrance, like you said, with the securities and all of that. Goldberg, but no, they didn't have the pyro.
Goldberg,
He didn't have the
Goldberg.
pyro, not the sparkles and anything. And then the crowd chanted Goldberg, and he goes, "Damn, it's good to be back." He said it's been a long time. He goes, he wants on SmackDown, so he'll take his sweet time and enjoy it. Last time that he was on SmackDown was before the match with the Undertaker, and we all know how that match turned out to be. So then the Firefly House, they show up, they're cutting the promo, and then Goldberg was saying, "I'm ready." Wyatt was happy to see Goldberg. He says he was doing work around the fun house. Then Wyatt says Goldberg doesn't know him at all, and he's not getting the title. So then he introduced his Firefly Farmhouse friends to Bill Goldberg, like Rambling Rabbit, all of them. You mentioned them because you know the names of all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Rambling Rabbit, Abby the witch, Mercy the buzzard, Huskus the pig. They were all like, they were all talking like, "Oh, hey Bill, hey Goldberg," and Huskus was like, "Oh, hey Goldberg," and all this
Yeah,
other stuff. And then Rambling Rabbit was like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan and this and that." And I love when Wyatt, he is the hammer. He's like gonna kill him again, and he's like, "Oh," and then he stops and he's like, "Oh, okay, okay." He's like, "But there's one more person who is dying to meet you," and I'm like, "What a
dying to
corny
meet.
line! I hate that corny line, like dying, like come on."
Yeah, and then of course the
Yeah.
light came out, and Bill Goldberg he's saying like, "Well, I'm pretty sure he's right behind me." So he turns around, and the Fiend is right there. So Bill Goldberg, of course, he hits the spear, and the Fiend, like you said, he kind of sells it, semi sells it, and then like he's like, "Oh," and then he's getting ready for the jackhammer, but the Fiend goes to the corner, and then
Hmm.
he boom, the lights go up, and he disappears. And then the lights came back up, and then Goldberg stood in the ring alone, and he was laughing at Bray Wyatt's laugh, and that was how the show goes off the air. We know this match, they're doing it just for the money. We don't know though. Okay, now it's time for do a little bit of predictions, like you said.
Hmm.
Bailey and Naomi.
Yeah, but I would stick with Bailey. I feel like that's a WrestleMania match. If she's gonna lose it, she's gonna lose it there. You're not
Yeah,
gonna make a change a title in Saudi Arabia.
I agree with you. I feel that like they're not gonna make, or maybe just because to get the buzz, they might do it. But I
Maybe.
don't think so. But now, Goldberg against Bray Wyatt or the Fiend.
I gotta go with the Fiend. Like I feel like if Goldberg would have eaten a mandible claw here, then that would have been more of a case for me to vote for Goldberg. But going with the Fiend.
Exactly. I would still go with the Fiend because, although personally, I'll tell you absolutely the truth. I will say this cold heartedly. I will say that like I would rather see Goldberg against Roman Reigns,
At
just
Mania.
because. Yeah, maybe because to me, I don't want the Fiend to lose to Roman. I'd
Yeah, but
rather
I
see him
don't. Yeah,
losing to
but to
Goldberg.
me, it's extremely obvious that he would lose to like Goldberg would lose to Roman. At least when it's the Fiend, there's a chance that maybe they could be like Vince, don't be an idiot. The Fiend should beat Roman, and he'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Oh, you're
But there,
right.
but
You're
there, but
bringing it up
there's
to that
nobody.
perspective. Yeah,
There's nobody else set up on SmackDown to beat. The only person who's set up to beat the Fiend would be Roman. Because
it's the only.
SmackDown's the land of bullshit. Are you ready for some bullshit? There's no.
Yeah,
It was Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan already had his shot.
there's the only two baby
Unless
faces.
unless unless the Fiend would hold the title until they do like a draft and a
A
reshift,
shake
and
up,
then
shake up.
shake up, and then maybe somebody like an AJ Styles or Kevin Owens or somebody like that comes back over to
Yeah,
SmackDown
maybe,
or whatever.
but
But
I
I'm
just
gonna
don't want
go
to
with the
see.
Fiend.
I just don't want to see Roman winning another title at WrestleMania. I've seen that way too many times. I don't want him main
And get
eventing
ready
every
for
single
when
thing.
he wins the chamber.
And well, that one is that's my bathroom break. You were mentioning bathroom breaks. When he wins, that's my bathroom break. Because of course I'm gonna be like peeing, like shh, and then I'm like, oh, the match is over. I can actually come out. I'll
Yep.
be like, Sam Paul, time to
But
go live.
as soon as he pins, as soon as it's down to him, and then whoever the last other guy is, then we can head to the car. Then
Yeah,
you
we
can
can head
go.
to the
Then
car,
you can
and then like
go.
I said, like,
Yep.
we go live for everybody in the family. So that's what we're gonna do but that was gonna be my bathroom break because I don't want to see him like celebrating. I don't want to see the pyro. It's like every single chamber you have to win. Why do we even have the chamber then?
Yeah.
If he's gonna win all the
Yeah,
time, why
just
is
say
he having?
Roman's gonna win. Just be like, oh, and for the men's chamber match, Roman's gonna win. We're not even having it.
Yeah, he's like,
But,
he's gonna win. We don't need it. We don't need to we don't need to have the match.
but
So
then, yeah, and then Miz and Morrison versus the New Day. I'm going with the New Day to win here because, like I said, this match is also booked for the chamber unless they change it. But this is supposed to be booked for the chamber as well. So I'm going to say that Miz and Morrison lose in Saudi Arabia, but then win at the chamber.
I
So
will say, actually, I want to say Miz and Morrison win it, and then they defend on a rematch and they retain the titles. But that's just me. So we'll see what happens in Saudi Arabia. We'll be covering, like I said, Super Showdown. We'll be covering both in English and Spanish. So family, this wraps out the show. Once again, it didn't do a lot, but I feel that like at least most of the matches are covered for like Super Showdown. Maybe they can add a little more. Ricochet and Brock Lesnar. We know that Brock Lesnar is retaining the title. I don't
mm,
see why would you hype McIntyre and Lesnar so much if you're going to put the title on Ricochet. There's no
yeah,
way that they're going to put the title on Ricochet. I'm sorry, Ricochet. You're a great wrestler. Prince Puma was legit, but you're not going to become the WWE champion in Saudi Arabia.
no.
It's just not going to happen. So, Jean Paul, like usual, thank you so very much for watching, family. We will be back, like I said, we will be in Outbreak. So, we will be there. So, please, guys, come out. It's going to be a great show. And let's support, local wrestling and everything. And, please, just go to our websites. You can find us in, like, Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. Right there in the beautiful template. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help us out to get the family growing. Don't forget to turn the bell for notifications. And Jean Paul and me, we will be meeting one more time because we have a lot more content for you guys. And in the name of Jean Paul and myself, we both want to say.
Uh,